Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video we're going to discuss rep speed and what is the ideal rep speed for optimal muscle growth. Should you perform your reps really slow and really controlled? Should you perform them really fast and explosive? Or should you do something in between? So let's figure it out. First, are slower reps better for muscle growth? I would say yes. If I have to choose between doing slow reps and really fast reps, I would definitely rather go with slow reps. And there are multiple reasons for that. So I would say slower repetitions are generally better for muscle growth than faster. However, only up to a certain point. So let me explain. A lot of people, when they go to the gym and lift weights, they would oftentimes, let's say they're doing some kind of curl, they would lift the weight up and then just leave it to gravity to fall down without actually engaging the muscle on the eccentric part of the movement and controlling that negative. So the muscle is like not really working on the way down because they just lift it up and they think, okay, the rep is completed, and then just leave it to fall down. So the muscle is not really working on the negative part of the movement, so the eccentric part, which is obviously much more important for muscle growth than the concentric. And that is the first reason why doing more controlled and slower reps and actually controlling your negatives will result in better muscle growth, because you're actually engaging the muscle in both concentric and eccentric part of the movement and not just lifting it up and then just neglecting the eccentric part. And then the second and the final reason why we should do slower and more controlled reps is to eliminate ego lifting and momentum as much as possible, and obviously to reduce the risk of injuries, because when we are using too much momentum and we start to ego lift, first we can reduce the intensity on the targeted muscle and the involvement of the muscle that we want to target. Like a perfect example for that would be when people are doing barbell or dumbbell curls. Oftentimes they would pick way too heavy weight, and instead of actually working with their biceps, they would start to swing and throw that weight on a chest using a lot of different muscle groups, but not optimally engaging the biceps. So that can actually reduce the intensity on the targeted muscle, and this muscle is not being worked as effectively, right? And then the second reason to include too much momentum and not to ego lift is obviously to reduce the risk of injuries, because if you're lifting fast and using a lot of momentum and not controlling the weight, there's much higher possibility that you're going to get injured. If you're lifting slower though and really controlling the movement, it is way less likely for you to get injured. Now, I'm not saying that lifting fast always means ego lifting, and including momentum. Like, you can be lifting fast and still have relatively good form, but it is way more likely that if you're like doing your reps fast, that you will break your form and start to ego lift compared to always controlling the movement. So that's why I think doing slower repetitions is better than doing fast repetitions, because of these 2 or 3 reasons. So to actually optimally engage the muscle on the eccentric part of the movement. Secondly, to minimize ego lifting and momentum, because it can decrease the intensity on the targeted muscle. And thirdly, to greatly reduce the risk for injuries. Now, once we achieve that, once we control the movement enough, is doing even slower reps and controlling those reps even more going to be better for muscle growth? No, that is not going to make any difference. I think if you do something like 1 to 2 second positives and then something like 3 to 4 second negatives, that's already good enough. And lifting even slower than that will not provide any additional benefits for muscle growth. So if you do, for example, 10-second negatives compared to 4-second negatives, 10-second negatives will not provide any additional benefits for your muscle growth, because yes, you might think, okay, but I'm spending more time at that eccentric part. Yes, you are, but at the end, you will be able to get less reps in, and your time under load by the end of the set will probably be the same. So if you do, for example, 4 reps of 10 seconds, or if you do 8 reps of 5 seconds, at the end you did, you had time under load of 40 seconds, no matter if you did 8 reps of 5 seconds or 4 reps of 10 seconds. The time under load at the end is the same, and you probably spent the same amount of time controlling the negatives. So what it matters is that you control the negative, but once that is taken care of, once the negative is controlled, let's say for 3 seconds or 4, controlling it even more will not provide any additional benefits. However, there is nothing wrong with lifting even slower. So if you like to control your reps even more and you like spending like 10 seconds on 1 rep, there is totally nothing wrong with that. You can definitely do it. In fact, you may even further reduce the risk for injuries, because the slower you're moving, the more you're controlling the weight, the slower the changes in direction, the lesser the risk for injuries. So especially with people that are maybe at higher risk of injuries because of some reason, it might be beneficial to actually perform the reps even more slowly. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today's video. So, is doing slower reps better for muscle growth? Yes, but only up to a certain point. Once you control the negatives good enough, once you eliminate momentum and ego lifting, doing even slower reps will not result in any better muscle growth. However, it may further reduce the risk of injuries. So yeah, hope you found my video useful. Like always, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment to support the channel's growth. If you need online coaching, you can find me on Instagram and just DM me. And see you in next YouTube video.